I'm Teresa Checker, and I want to talk to you guys today about Hershey bars. More specifically, Milton Hershey. When we think about industry and entrepreneurship in the postbellum period, we don't always think about chocolate. We don't always think about the movements that somebody like Milton Hershey made. But Milton Hershey helped found an entire town based on chocolate. So I want to talk to you guys more today about Milton Hershey. So Milton Hershey embodied two principles that really come to mind when I think about him. And those are pay it forward, and if at first you don't succeed, try again. Hershey began working at the age of 14, learning after his first failed apprenticeship the skills that he would need to build his candy empire. Hershey began working with Joseph Royer, a confectioner in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Here he learned how to make candy and what the general public actually found appealing about candy. So at the age of 19, Hershey decided to try his own hand at the candy industry. He knew that a historical event that was upcoming in Pennsylvania, the Great Centennial Exposition, which was celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, would draw out thousands of people. And like the video that we learned this week talked about, if you can recognize things in business that are going to help you succeed, you can be great at business. This was the first exhibition of its kind in the United States. It covered 450 acres of Philadelphia's Fairmount Park and drew in nearly 10 million people over the period of 6 months. Hershey knew how to recognize potential, and Hershey intended to try to sell his candy to these hungry enthusiasts. With his pushcart in tow, he began making candy to prepare for this enormous event. He worked day and night with the help of his mother and his aunt as employees, but he quickly burned out. He borrowed the money for his pushcart from his uncle, and he got his mom and his aunt to help him make candy. But here was the problem. He never left himself time to sleep. He would cook candy with his mom and his aunt at night, and then he would get up during the daytime and go to this big, huge event to try to sell candy. But he was exhausted. And after he did this for a few months, he just couldn't do it anymore. So he finally had to admit that he was burnt out and he needed time to rest. And so once he couldn't do it anymore, he had to admit defeat and end his pushcart business. Once this venture ended, Hershey moved with his father to Denver, Colorado. Here he learned a new technique for mixing milk into chocolate. There he created his design for milk chocolate, which is most of our favorites. I would say that's one of the most popular things that the Hershey company sells. Excited by his new design, he opened yet another unsuccessful business. This led him to move to New York City in 1883, where he tried his hand at what he named the Hershey's Fine Candies business. But as most markets do, they fluctuate and change, and the business market changes. And so the price of sugar rose. This led to his demise in this business as well. He decided to return home to Pennsylvania. This is where he finally saw success in his business. He began a partnership with William Lebkiker. They found just enough money to start the Lancaster Caramel Company. Orders from London took off, and Hershey was able to borrow money from a bank for the first time as a real businessman. He borrowed $250,000 from a bank. Again, he used another historical event. He learned more about chocolate there. He attended the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. This was a celebration of the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus's arrival in the New World. This event featured 47 countries, which had set up temporary exhibits and is still seen as having influence over Chicago's image and American industry. Hershey learned more about the chocolate rolling machine that he would actually eventually incorporate into his own business, and that would be required to make the Hershey bars that we all know and love today. By 1894, Hershey opened the Hershey Chocolate Company, and he sold the Lancaster Caramel Company that he had opened with his friend for $1 million. His influence on the economy in the town of Hershey, Pennsylvania have been incredible and still are today. He used the money from the sale of the Lancaster Caramel Company to buy the land he was born on, plus 1,500 adjoining acres. This is where he started his chocolate plant, and he knew there was plenty of fresh water that he could actually use for the plant. He knew there were plenty actually of cows around there as well, and he could hire the local farmers to provide him with the milk he would need for his milk chocolate. And so he knew this would work. So with the help of his wife, Catherine, they began to dream of how they could influence the economy of Dauphin County. They didn't want to just hire employees. They wanted to actually start a place where these people could live. So they built homes, a post office, churches, shops, schools, and even a trolley car for transportation. Hershey became known as a philanthropist. When his wife found out that she couldn't have children, they actually started a home for orphan boys in 1909. This school still functions today as the Milton Hershey School. And although today the school services both boys and girls, it functions with the original premise as set forth by Hershey and his wife, that the 10 Commandments and the Golden Rules are to be taught to every student. Their influence over the economy and industry of the surrounding area are still felt today, as are their compassionate spirit. Thank you.